Why don't we go ahead and get started? Welcome, everybody. My name is Alec Harris. I'm honored to serve as president here at GIA. We are super, super excited about the GIA Summer Music Institute. So much planning has gone into it so far, and we're excited to share with you a little bit about it. But before I do, maybe just we can go around the screen here. I'll call on folks and they can just introduce themselves and their roles here. We'll go with Kate, Sarah, Michael, Peter, Zach. You can remember that.
Hi, I'm Kate Williams. I'm the Vice President of Sacred Music here at GIA. I'm really looking forward to the Summer Institute and excited to hear your questions about it so that we can all get on the same path here. Sarah?
Hi, I'm Sarah Wolf. I am the marketing director here at GIA Music, and we are very excited. If you email, you'll get this email at the end. You'll be getting those emails from me, and you can always ask additional questions if you leave today and you're like, oh, I forgot something. If you email institute@giamusic.com, that will go to me, and I will find out the answers for you. Michael?
Hi, I am Michael Silhavy, Senior Project Editor here at GIA. I am thrilled. We are transporting our Fall Institute into the Summer Institute, and it will continue to be that same overarching principle of educators, musicians, liturgists, theater folks, pedagogues, the whole spectrum of folks in music and other performing arts coming together to learn and share with each other. Peter.
And thank you, Michael. My name is Peter Kolar. I'm the senior editor for Spanish and bilingual resources here at the Sacred Music team of GIA. And as if all that Michael mentioned were not impressive enough in terms of the scope of this event, in addition to all that, we are including a dedicated Spanish track that is a track dedicated to those working in Hispanic ministry. And myself, and along with my colleague Julio De Leon, who was not able to be on this call with us, but will be a vital part and presence of the Institute, particularly the Spanish-speaking portion of it, are super excited to be part of this, and we would look forward to welcoming all of you, in particular, those of you working in Hispanic and Spanish-speaking communities.
And Zach.
Hi, I'm Zach Stahowski. I work in the marketing department and I primarily focus on social media and our digital content.
Great, wonderful. So, as Michael mentioned, we used to do an event prior to the pandemic in the fall. It was really an opportunity to bring the best people that we are honored to work with, composers, presenters, teachers, educators, in one space. A lot of folks know GIA for, say, just our music education division or just our sacred music division. And really, there's so many opportunities for synergies across these divisions to bring everyone together in one place, to connect with one another, to learn new skills and build their skills, to have the opportunity to experience beautiful music from composers and artists at the top of their skills, to sing and raise your own voices in song, and then to be inspired and to go back with that shot on that extra energy that we all need to help us do more and be better at what we do when we get back home. So we are super excited to tell you more about it. When we've done the event in the fall, folks have left the event doing all those things, wanting to come back for more. And we are super excited now with the pandemic behind us to do this. And we felt like the summer would be the perfect opportunity. The campus in Naperville is a state-of-the-art campus, beautiful, on the train line from Chicago, in easy access from the airports. And we put together a program really with the best of the best among folks who we are honored to work with. And we look forward to telling you more about that. Sarah or Kate? Sarah?
I'll do a little introduction before we hand it over to Kate. And that is just that we are going to start today with sort of the meat and potatoes of the conference, which of course is the scheduling with the programming. There are many other fun things to talk about, but I think we start there. And certainly if you have any questions along the way about any of these presenters that we're talking about or any of the events that come up, please put your questions in the chat. And again, if you think of something later, institute@giamusic.com is where you can get those questions answered. So I think we're going to start today with kind of the big sessions. We have 3 really exciting keynotes for you. And Kate Williams is going to take over now and tell you a little bit about each of them.
Yeah, I'm happy to talk about the keynotes for this event. I wanted to first, I hope this is okay, but I have to give a shout out from who I think is our most distant participant in this webinar today, Father Felix, who's calling us from Nigeria. Thank you so much for being with us. And I'm so glad to see not only that you're calling from so far away, but that you are a priest who is interested in learning more about sacred music and you are studying it. And everything we can do to facilitate those relationships between music directors and priests, I think, is a win. We're going to be working together, guys. So how can we work together at our best? I also wanted to say that summer conferences are part of the unique joys of working in music ministry and working in publishing, because it's the time of the year when those of us who have really dedicated our lives, either our full-time ministry or a part-time ministry in a paid capacity or in a volunteer capacity, we've really dedicated our lives to this work. And for us to know each other, be able to network with each other and come together, to learn together, to sing together, it is really a beacon that helps us not feel so isolated and alone, because I know that can be a part of our job too. So coming together to be in the same place, share our common joys and struggles, learn a little bit about what's going on in the rest of the country and beyond for music ministers and music educators. There's really nothing else like it. I know that a lot of people are looking for these opportunities because I can see it on social media. And I know how the social media conversations also feel limited and sometimes a little bit scary to wade into. There's just no replacement for having these kinds of dialogues in person as much as you are able to. So I'm really glad that we are making the opportunity for this collective experience to happen. So with that in mind, I know a lot of the things that we tried to design this conference around is the fact that we're all human beings with human capacities, human limitations, human joys. And I love that kind of each aspect of these keynote presentations really get at that collective human experience. So we've got Scott Edgar, who's going to talk about social emotional learning as it relates to music. He's been in a number of different settings in educational work as well as in church music ministry work. And to talk about how music is not just this thing that we do, but it's a thing that builds us and builds upon our capacity as social beings, as emotional beings. We bring that into the work that we do, and we get influence on our social and emotional state from the music making that we do. So let's hear more about that with Scott Edgar. A good friend of mine now, I'm so glad I can say that he's my friend, Bob Bordone, who is from the Cambridge Negotiation Institute. He's just released a book with his colleague Joel Salinas on conflict resilience. And what I especially appreciate about his perspective, he works with all kinds of people, not just in the music ministry world. He works with lawmakers, he works with peacemakers, he works with businesses and corporate institutions to talk about, I mean, this thing that none of us like, but is a true part of all of our lives, is conflict. And rather than work towards the quickest resolve of a conflict, what I appreciate about what Bob is doing in his various circles is he's teaching us how to be resilient in the midst of them and to treat one another with respect and compassion in the way that we negotiate through those conflicts. Again, if you're an educator, you know something about conflict, whether it be in the midst of your classroom, with parents, with the rest of administration. Conflict is a part of your work. If you're a music minister, certainly you know about conflict. How many different times do you have to navigate towards a rehearsal that's suddenly 50% understaffed because of various conflicts that have arisen for the rest of your choir? Or let's maybe not get too far into this without Bob's help, but amongst your parish staff, conflict is going to be a part of your work, and it needn't be like a dirty word. It can be something that we accept as a part of our work. In fact, perhaps it is a holy part of our work because we're bringing, again, that part of our human perspective and experience to the table and hoping to do the best with what we have in the context of our staff, our group. And then we've got Diana McAlintal, who's going to talk about what we make when we make music, and whether that be as an individual person, or I think probably her emphasis is always going to lean us towards that communal experience of what is happening to us when, as a community, as an individual, a part of a community, when we're offering that sung, elevated praise or lament. What is happening to us, literally, physiologically with our bodies, what's happening with our spirit being self, and what's happening, what's possible, really. What are we aiming towards when we sing together, worship together, and build community together? So that's a little bit about the keynotes. There's certainly plenty more.
Wonderful. Thank you, Kate. I should also mention that we have two very special opportunities that we are very proud to offer. Not only can you sit and listen to some excellent sessions, which we'll talk about in just a moment, you have the opportunity to take part and to be part of a master class with two really phenomenal teachers. The first one is really our one of our top people that he is his singing group is our main concert event. Dr. Jason Max Ferdinand at the University of Maryland. He is really taking the world by storm. He's really incredible, and he will be doing a conducting masterclass. So if you're not quite ready to be up in front of everyone, you can certainly learn by being in the audience. But he opened just 5 spaces for the people that he is going to work with individually in that masterclass format. And we have 2 spaces left. So if you are interested in doing that, I recommend that you get right on there and sign up. He is really world renowned, and it is an excellent opportunity. You might be able to see him at other conventions, but to work with him one-on-one is something very special. The other opportunity that we have is a vocal masterclass with Dr. Lynn Eustace. She is also one of our authors. She is at Boston University, very well-known vocal teacher, and she is allowing, again, 5 students. Again, you can sit in the audience and you can learn from what other people are doing, but this is also an opportunity to prepare a piece and really, get some real-time feedback on what's happening from just a high-level professional. And so we're very excited to offer those 2 sessions. There are, I believe, 3 more spots for Dr. Eustace. So if you are interested in either of those, I recommend that you register very soon and take advantage of that opportunity. All right, now we're going to kind of dive into some of the sessions that are happening, and we are lucky enough to have 3 of our presenters sitting right here with us today. Kate and Michael and Peter are all part of this, and we thought that we would kind of talk a little bit about their own sessions, but also the sessions that, as musicians, as someone in music ministry, as people who have experience in formation and music education, what they're excited to maybe sneak in and participate in as well. So Peter or Michael or Kate, does anyone like to jump in here?
I'll go. So let's see. I am doing one session on St. Francis's Canticle of Creation, because this is the 800th anniversary year of him composing that text. And we'll look at the canticle itself. We will look at some hymns based on the canticle. And then we'll start to stray into hymnody and repertoire about earth keeping and earth tending. And then maybe just kind of a fanciful discussion at the end, do a little theology about what does this mean for animals and nature and all of God's creation, and how are they redeemed? So some singing, some theology, some history. I'm also doing a session on praying farewell. I started a project with some folks on funeral repertoire, which drastically changed as COVID hit. And funerals for just about all denominations and all traditions have been changed because of COVID. We'll look at some of the ways that things have changed, some new ways to respond, some new ideas about funerals, some repertoire. So once again, kind of straddling music and liturgy. The two, at least I want to go see. Cheryl Frazee is doing a session on the pedagogy of Margaret Hillis. Margaret Hillis was the first conductor of the Chicago Symphony Chorus back from the 60s. It's funny, in this wonderful biography that Cheryl did, talks about Margaret one time realizing she was maybe one of three conductors in the country who had a professional chorus. The fact that Margaret taught sacred music at Union Theological Seminary in New York and would fly back to Chicago every week. But a remarkable person who really shaped choral pedagogy as we know it. I'm also looking forward to Tom Jefferson's session on arranging for small choirs. I would imagine most of us have small choirs, and what can we do with those ensembles? How can we use the hymnal? Anyway, no, Tom will tell us how to do all that, but I'm just intrigued about things we can use for our smaller choirs. So those are two I will be going to for sure.
There's actually a question in the chat here, so I wonder if maybe Peter wants to go next, because the question is, what's unique about the Institute in terms of what we will provide for the Spanish-speaking community?
Sure. There is plenty more to expound upon regarding all the many wondrous options, and Kate will continue after what Michael just gave us a little introduction to as well. But in terms of what I can answer to Greg's question specifically, and for all of you tuning in, is that the Spanish or the Hispanic track as part of the Institute is a vital way to give those ministering and working in Hispanic and Spanish-speaking settings a leg up on formational opportunities and acumen. In particular, we're going to have some general sessions in terms of just liturgy awareness and application. Many musicians in the Hispanic realm tend to be volunteer because of just the reality socially and culturally. And as such, some amazing talent steps into our sanctuaries, ripe and ready to provide music for our worship, but not necessarily with a liturgical sensibility. And so this is an opportunity for communities to have their music ministry, those entrusted with this responsibility, to learn more about what is the rite and what the rite requires and asks of us in terms of some general liturgical awareness and knowledge. In addition to that, there's a session called The Art of Selecting Music. And so it's not just the execution and how music is an integral part of the liturgy, but how music planners play a vital role in shaping the overall experience of worship for those experiencing that prayer in that moment. The sacred text coupled with the texts that are sung as selected by the musicians really constitute the experience of worship, and to elevate it and to explore the artistry behind how the right piece in the right moment can really beautify the worship at hand. Additionally, there's a session on two sessions actually by my colleague Julio De Leon on how to read music. In the Spanish-speaking community, so much of our music is transmitted orally, and so the notion of musical notation can sometimes be a stumbling block or a little bit of a challenge. And this is a session by a native Spanish speaker for Spanish speakers in immersing yourself in the ins and outs of how musical notation works, so that it becomes an open door rather than something to be feared. We all know that that's going to be an essential part of the ongoing musical formation for a lot of musicians. And so we're super proud and happy to be able to offer this session. Julio is a teacher through and through, spent many years in the classroom, teaching in Catholic schools, music in particular. And so he is just a phenomenal-minded person when it comes to transmitting these basics of music notation in a way that makes sense and can be embraced. Julio's wife, Leslie, is actually a neuroscientist, and we're super excited to have her also be part of the session. And one of the sessions that she's going to give is called The Science and the Spirituality for the Music Ministry. And you would think that science and religion can sometimes be at odds, but she makes the very compelling case that, particularly in her own experience, that science indeed strengthens her own sense of spirituality and belief, in the higher God, the higher Creator. And so she will dive into some aspects of her work as a neuroscientist and how it coincides and strengthens her own abilities and efforts in music ministry. There's going to be two sessions on musical ensembles. There's going to be also a session on dealing with some of the pragmatic aspects of leadership structures and parish realities when it comes to the volunteer musician, which is quite the reality in Spanish-speaking communities. And then there's also going to be a session on the charismatic renewal and the importance, the vital importance of that facet of Catholicism and how it's played an essential part, in particular for the Hispanic community, to explore it, to uplift it, to really look at the wondrous intersection that the charismatic movement has had on the faith lives of so many Hispanic Catholics. In addition to that, we're going to have a mini showcase exploring some of the great music that GIA offers for Spanish speakers and bilingual communities. And so with this great breadth of offerings, we're super excited. As Kate mentioned, this is a forum by which we can connect. And so all that has been described previously in terms of opportunities across sacred music and other expertises that perhaps don't necessarily intersect that frequently, and add to that the ability to intersect with the realities of Spanish speakers. And so in your own efforts as well, I invite you, if you do have Spanish-speaking communities as part of your parish reality, please make the effort to invite them personally. That personal outreach and touch is so important. And this event offers so much to them that we hope everyone can take advantage of.
Just say too that Peter outlining this track for Spanish speakers is unique, and it's one of those things that We wanted to make sure that we put a good investment in, because often we're frustrated when we go to other conferences and it's kind of like a Spanish language thing is an afterthought, or it's you kind of got to dig to know what the Spanish language offerings might be. And it was really important to us, even symbolically, to have concurrent and substantial offerings in both English and in Spanish to, properly represent and offer opportunities for education and formation, no matter if you are English or Spanish speaking. I think Alec wants to say something here.
Yes, I just wanted to address a couple of the questions that have come in. Absolutely. First of all, there are enough sessions for non-Roman Catholics to have a wonderful conference experience in the 100%. About half of the sessions are not are for educators. For example, everyone from Andy Heimlich, who is one of the conductors of the Indianapolis Children's Choir, on starting the year out with your kids' choir, to the crafting culture, about building a wonderful culture among your school or other places, just building that right culture in your ensemble, to leadership with Ramona Wiss. Her session, the conductor still leads, reframing timeless practices for modern challenges. She's actually professor at North Central College, where this event is going to be held. She is a master leader and educator and a very, very inspiring speaker. I can't wait to hear from her. So there's going to be a lot of additional content. We have Professor Matthew Rao, who is a band director at Appleton, and just a lot of other folks as well. So it's going to be an excellent session. And why? The number one reason, I think it's to connect, to learn, to build connections with others, to be inspired and get that shot in the arm that we all need when we go back in the fall to our teaching or church schedules.
Well, I would say too, like it's not just either music education offerings or Catholic offerings. I mean, when we say sacred music, we really do mean across the denominations of sacred music experience. And I think a good representation of that is even if you look at the evening concert opportunities that we have. We have Mark Miller, who teaches at Drew University and Yale. He's a composer. A lot of you know him from all kinds of different circles. He's a phenomenal composer. If I had to talk about his style, I would say it's some kind of cross between Disney and Radiohead and maybe a little bit of gospel in there too. Making his most recent project, the hymnary and little album that we put together, there were so many times where I just had no words, that I was just bawling. And he himself is pretty cross-denominational. He's worked in a number of different denominations as a music director, a music minister, and he's one of the best people I know. He's just a phenomenal human being on top of being an incredible composer. So he'll be there giving workshops, but also we'll have an opportunity to hear him, a more concertized version of his work. There's been some questions, and I know that we have some solutions for if you'd like to attend the evening events, maybe with a larger group, with your whole choir, a group from your parish, your family. We'll have tickets available just for the concert opportunities. So there's that one with Mark Miller. There's also another concert opportunity with Jason Max Ferdinand. We talked about him before, but I don't think that we mentioned that this is the first concert where it was Jason Max Ferdinand directing the Aeolians of Oakwood University. Is the first concert where Michael and I both shed a mutual tear.
This is true.
We were both equally moved by what we were hearing. And I think it was the first concert where we could both just like sit back and allow ourselves to be present to the magic that was happening amongst the musicians, to feel held and carried for a time in that way. Unforgettable.
Yeah, can I say something about Jason Max Ferdinand as well? Honestly, the Jason Max Ferdinand Singers, I think it's the leading choral performing choir in the United States right now. They are phenomenal. They are inspiring. The music is rich. It's deep. The performances are some of the best musicians anywhere that you'll find. And the fact that they're coming and they're going to be performing here, it's just, it's incredible. They gave the leading performance 2 years ago at the American Choral Directors Association National Convention. It brought down the house. Their friend and colleague and musician Jacob Collier joined them at the very end. It was really unbelievable. They also performed just the Jason Max Ferdinand Singers at the Texas Music Educators Convention in San Antonio. Similar, amazing response. You're not going to get a better choral experience anywhere.
Yeah.
Super
And like
exciting.
not even just the United States, like Jason Max Ferdinand is known around the globe as being a preeminent choral director. And again, I don't know how we've done this, but somehow all of these people have become associated with GIA are also just phenomenal human beings. Like I enjoy being in their presence as much as I enjoy learning from their wisdom and expertise. I want to answer that question too about what's the number one reason why you should sign up. And for me, it's really simple. We've said a lot of words about all the types of offerings that are going to be available, about all the fantastic clinicians. I'm going to say more in a minute about the free stuff. But for me, the reason to sign up is because you deserve it. Because it's the one thing that music can do, can teach us, is that we're not alone. We don't have to be alone. And we shouldn't feel like we're alone if we can do something about it. And showing up for one another is one of those ways we know that we feel it when we're making music together, when we're singing in a choir, when we're a part of the ensemble, when we're in front of a classroom or a participant in the classroom. You know that feeling that almost doesn't have words to articulate it. But it's that feeling of not being alone, of knowing that you don't have to do this all by yourself. For me, there aren't enough of those opportunities that we allow ourselves to receive. And being at the Summer Institute, yes, to see these clinicians, to have these great opportunities, to learn, to hone your craft, all of that is true. And the most important thing is to take care of yourself, to take care of yourself by being a part of togetherness in music making. That's why we do this. If you ask yourself, what got you into this in the beginning when you were a young person, maybe you still are a young person, what keeps you there? There's something ineffable, something that we're not always able to articulate, but we know that that feeling is there and we hunger for it. Okay, so now free stuff. You are going to get a number of free things when you come to the Institute. You're going to have free music up the wazoo, if I'm allowed to say that. There's a number of different choral reading sessions, music for small choirs, music from Hope Publishing, music from Lorenz, music from Morningstar, of course, tons of music from GIA. You will be going home with a lot of that music to consider adding to your own choir's library. You're going to get a free copy of Bob Bourdon's new best-selling book, Conflict Resilience. And he'll be there to sign it. I don't know if you've seen any of his social media or general media about the long lines waiting for his autograph on that important work. Everybody's looking for a way to get through this time of lots of contention. He's going to be right here with us at the Institute. And, another free thing that you're going to get is, Peter, were you going to say more about this?
I could you as well. But folks,
Kate, is that a beer you're drinking, Kate? Are you drinking a beer on
Well,
screen here?
it does say Heineken, doesn't it? It's alcohol free. I know HR is on this call, so just so you know, this is zero proof, zero
But
proof.
why? Why?
Because we're gonna do beer and hymns, Michael.
Okay.
Go, PK.
that is, I mean, if you look at Kate's background, on the shelf behind her is just a plethora of hymns, with the four, in the four you have the beer on top of that. What better way to celebrate what we do than, as you know, musicians love and need very much the opportunity for some unwinding. And what better way to do that than with this event that we've crafted for you, in the spirit of craft beer, that is called Beer and Hymns. It will be led by artist Tony Alonso. And Tony, from his collection Revival, has reshaped so many of our classic hymns that we sing in worship across the Protestant and Catholic spectrums. For contemporary and modern ensembles, really put a new, a really cool fresh coat of paint on these old venerable melodies. And with an ensemble that you might find at a bar with some percussion and bass and different vocals and perhaps even accordion and other types of instrumentation that would come in this. We're all going to raise a glass together and sing some long meter and short meter in good form. So
Yeah.
Old Hundredth, Vaughan Williams, your classic Wadsworth texts, and it's all going to be there, and we're going to really raise the house. So you guys can talk a little bit more about the logistics, but my spiel is just to say, grab a beer and sing along. It's what we do best, and what you will be itching to do along with us. So come and enjoy it.
Yeah.
Beer and hymns, just because logistics. Beer and hymns will be open to approximately the first 150 people to sign up as they come in and sign in to the registration table on that first day. We do buy your first drink and invite you to just enjoy yourself. And that comes after the Mark Miller concert, so we'll keep you out nice and late and show you a good time.
And the bar is right there, walking distance.
It's walking distance. It's right down the street. We'll just come right out of the concert and go right onto something else. That's just plain old good time for everybody. All right. Anything that anyone would like to add?
And I don't want to lose sight of the reading sessions that Kate mentioned. Yes, it's certainly GIA, but other publishers will be present to showcase their music. The reading sessions will encompass music from the sacred side and from the school side, the concert side. Walton will be there, of course. E.C. Shermer, Hope, Lorenz. Every time I do a reading session, one of the joys for me is to remind people of the breadth of the GIA catalog. We have something for everyone, and there will even be more offerings at this event with our publisher friends there. Some of this music you'll want to take back to your situation and use. And if nothing else, you just get to go to these sessions and sight read and sing music for the sure enjoyment of making music together. So plenty of reading sessions and free music for you to bring home. So a lot of reading sessions.
Can I give a shout out to who's on the call with us? One of our presenters, Adan Fernandez, tuning in from LA area in California. He's going to be at the Institute. And Adan is a wonderful colleague and has worked with us on the Spanish hymnal committee that we're developing for this a brand new resource. And he's going to give some wonderful sessions, among them how to play in Hispanic style for the organ. So amidst all the other things that you have offering you, you can add that one as well. I'll talk about an intersection of some really fascinating things. Hispanic styles on the pedal board. I mean, get your feet ready to have some fun.
We would be remiss if we didn't mention the other tracks that are going on during the Institute as well. These are a little more music education focused, but for those of you who are in the school environment and need those PD credits, these are excellent opportunities to either become certified or have a training in something that is well known. So we have 4 tracks going on the music education side. The first one is called Crafting Culture, which is so important in the social emotional learning area. These days, it's such an integral part of teaching in all ways. That is done through SLAM, the Servant Leadership. Sorry, help me out here.
Association for Music.
Association for Music. I'm like, I'm not going to get all of that. Servant Leadership Association for Music. There are 2 certification tracks under the Feierabend Association for Music Education, or FAME for short. The first one is First Steps in Music, and the second one is Conversational Solfege. Those are certification. So you will come out of there with a certificate that you are qualified to teach those methods. And then finally, and this is a little bit off from just music, for our theater people and our musical theater people, we have a 2-day training session with iTheatrics. And that includes at the end a trip downtown to see some great kids do some great theater. And so all of those things are available through the same links. And as a bonus, during the day, you would be in those tracks, but at night, you can still see all the wonderful concerts. You can still go to beer and hymns if you wish. The rest of the conference, when you're not in the track, is open and available to you. Anything else we'd like to add or any more questions? For continuing education hours, yes, you will be provided with a sheet. It may not work. You will have to check with your state group. For example, the Illinois State Board of Education has different requirements than Texas. So you need to be aware of what those are. Certainly the certification courses do fall under that umbrella. The conference may or may not, depending on your school requirements and the state requirements, but we are happy to provide you with some kind of, you will receive something that says that you attended and how many hours you attended sessions that you are able to turn in.
Well, I just want to thank everybody for your time. And again, I hope you can see from this group how excited we are about the opportunity to have this event, to meet you, to work to be your colleagues and deepen our connections and our relationships, to learn together, to be inspired together. And thank you for this team for really putting together. I think it's a world-class event, and I think it's going to be fantastic. So can't wait to see you all in Naperville in July.